This month on Nicolas Cage Study, we are going to be talking about the 1983 film Rumblefish, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, with a screenplay by Francis Ford Coppola and S.E. Hilton, based on a book by S.E. Hilton. So I've never seen this before, I didn't know what to expect. I'm not a Godfather guy. Apocalypse Now is a great film. My expectations, though, were set very high in the first scene where motherfucking Tom Waits is in this, guys. Tom Waits is in this film. And Nick Cage appears in 1 minute 7, so this seems like it's going to be a good film. Tom Waits was good friends with Nicolas Cage, you know. Anyway, the thing is, even though this is very much the beginning of Nick Cage's career, like, he looks like he's 50 or something. He's got this big round face and his big tall hair, and I've never seen him look so Italian in anything either. He looks like he should be on The Sopranos. So the movie's all in black and white. Do this thing where they use a bit of colour, so it's like, oh, okay, so we're going to have some things in colour to highlight their importance. Nope, that doesn't happen. It's just these fish. Moving on. After that one bit of innovation is where the movie really starts to take a dip, and that's 4 minutes in. The accents that these characters use and the dialogue that they are given are both really annoying. Like, eye-scratchingly, tediously, mind-drillingly annoying.
Not the law, punk.
Careful, man. He's been popping pills.
I hate fighting knocked up people.
Trust
You scum. I hear you looking for him. Come on, Ducky. Come on. Take a fucking swing at me, man, so I can just... Come here, you little...
And Matt Dillon's character is called Rusty James by everyone all the time. Never just James or Rusty or Rust. It's just Rusty James. Hey, Rusty James. There's Rusty James. And that is so fucking annoying after a while. Something that comes up a lot in these old movies that I talk about is fight scenes before fight choreography. I mean, I get what they're trying to do here. I know what the music's trying to do, making it seem more primal, but it doesn't work. It's just weird and homoerotic. Not in a good way either. It's just odd. And then Mickey Rourke appears in this, and when you think this could be where things turn around, it's not where things are going to turn around because you can hardly understand him.
Why? Huh? What you talk to me? Why?
Thanks to some shitty neighbours, I had to watch this movie with my headphones on, and I could hardly hear what he was saying. Fun IMDb fact number 1 for you here, the sound crew referred to this film as Mumblefish. That's how big a pain in the arse it was to work with Mickey Rourke here. The plot seems to be Rusty James is meant to be taking over the gang from his brother, who doesn't seem arsed about it anymore, but at the same time is still getting into scraps and stuff. Rusty James is like an idiot, and his brother is uncommittal, and that's the whole thing of the film. There's this weird scene where they break into like a beach house to have an orgy. I mean, I can't show it here. You do get a glimpse of Nick Cage ass, so that's something. But it is weird. It's about young people fucking and fighting, which makes the movie sound much more interesting than it is, because again, it is not very interesting. All this the symbolness. All the metaphors and stuff are shoved in your face is what I'm saying. Like, the whole black and white color screen is very obviously a reference to, like, German neo-expressionist stuff, and it doesn't have the context or the character or the action of those films. It just has the color scheme. Instead of having twisted, tormented, broken characters, it has Mickey Rourke, who is supposed to be like a legendary biker gang leader, but just acts like he's on the set of a talk show all the time.
The camera went over the audience. I saw her.
Yeah?
And I knew if I went out to California, I'd find her.
I thought you was dead, man.
And now I know. Now I know why the old man always said you look exactly like your mother.
The only interesting thing that happens in this film is 1 hour in, Nick Cage set up the whole lakeside orgy thing just so he could move in on Rusty James's dame.
There. Did you plan for it to get back to Patty, huh? Maybe she'd break up with me and you could move in and take over maybe while I was still fucked up from the fight. Look at me, goddammit. Did you? Well, I guess I did.
And I'm not just saying this because this is a video series about Nicolas Cage movies, but this is 100% the only good part of this movie. It shows someone is smart here. It shows someone actually has a plan and a purpose. It makes this guy who's meant to be the shit heel like the most admirable character of it, because he's not just bumming around wasting time. He's got a plan. It's not a moral plan, but it's a plan that worked.
James, if there were still gangs around, I'd be president and not you. You'd be second lieutenant. You know, you might have made it a while on the Motorcycle Boys rep, but you ain't got your brother's brains.
Having said that, it did need some better dialogue. I mean, there's some terrible, terrible dialogue in this film. Like,
It's nothing personal, Rusty James. But nobody would follow you into a gang fight, because you get people killed. Nobody wants to be killed.
if the movie ended at this point, it would have been fine, but there's still another 30 minutes to go, and I got increasingly enraged as those 30 minutes went on. Basically, it all boils down to, at the end, Mickey Rourke's character wants to liberate the fighting fish that you see in colour, and he decides he's going to do that by breaking into the pet store at night, not just going in the day and just, you know, shoplifting some fish. He breaks into the store to steal some fish so he can liberate them into the river, and he gets killed in the process. I think the whole thing was building up to this message of how we're all stuck in the roles that we're given and we want to break free, and the blue and red of the fish is matching the blue and red of the siren, yada yada yada. Doesn't make a difference because the hour 30 some of that movie was so incredibly hard to sit through that I don't give a shit about any of those characters, and I don't give a shit about Mickey Rourke dying. This was an awful film, devoid of any artistic merit outside of what it copied from other artists. I don't get why Coppola is held in such high regard, man. I mean, that's a whole rant for another thing, but having watched this, I do not feel the need to seek out any other lesser-known Coppola works. So let's Nick Cage it then. Was it a good film? No, it just really wasn't. Was it so bad that it was good? No, it was really not. I don't know what kind of audience this is. Pretentious foreign film fans, maybe. Normal Joe six-packs like the rest of us, stay clear of this one. Was it a good Nick Cage film? Considering the things we saw before this, where like teen comedies, this is definitely where he shows he has the chops. It's easy to see where an agent or a producer saw this and thought, hey, with stronger material and get those teeth fixed, we can do something with this kid. It's a good Nick Cage film. The only problem is that in order to get that Nick Cage film out of this film, you have to boil it down to those 5 minutes of scenes that he's in. And there we go. That is a very quick summary of a very bad film in the Nick Cage Study video series. Join us next month for another video. Until then, check out the sketches, D&D games, and video essays on tophatsandcanes.com, or watch them all here on the YouTube channel, where you should subscribe to find out when the next video is coming out.